2024 is set to be the biggest year for crypto airdrops in crypto history. However, it could also be the last big year for crypto airdrops. Thus, you have a small window to capitalize, so make sure that you don't miss out on what could be your last big opportunity to make it with crypto airdrops. If you're interested in doing so, you've come to the right place, because in today's video, I'm going to show you all the airdrops that I'm personally farming to make over $50,000 and probably even more in 2024. Recently, over the past few months, my followers have landed nice airdrops for Celestia, which I was talking about in 2022, Jito Finance, which was a $15,000 plus airdrop, which I talked about a month ago, and in today's video, I'll be giving you even more opportunities. So let's run through the agenda for today's video. Firstly, I'm going to discuss why I think 2024 will be the biggest airdrop season ever. Then I'm going to show you every single airdrop that I'm farming in 2024. And for each of these airdrops, I'll be giving you some nuance to provide some insight into my strategy for each of these airdrops. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can get started today with as little as $100. Airdrop farming may seem overwhelming, but I've actually nailed it down to some really simple concepts that if you can grasp, it's actually super easy and only takes 30 minutes to 1 hour per week, but could potentially net you over $50,000 plus in 2024, and perhaps even more if you get really lucky on a particular crypto airdrop. So at the end of the video, after I go through all of the airdrops that I'm farming this year, we will go through the strategy so you can get started today. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to click that subscribe button down below, because when I hear about the latest airdrop opportunities, I'm going to be doing full guides and airdrop reveals on this channel. So all the subscribers of the channel get access to all of my airdrop strategies, deep dives, etc. And I believe if you watch these videos every single week, you'll be in an amazing position to capitalize on 2024. And I'll also give you updates. So all the time, there's new strategies that come to light, new protocols that launch, and new strategies that I find. I'm going to share them here on this channel first, so make sure you subscribe, and of course, click that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Over 70% of my followers don't have the notification bell turned on, and that's 70% of people that are potentially missing out on crypto alpha every single week. So make sure you click that notification bell. So firstly, why is 2024 going to be the biggest airdrop season in crypto history? Well, there are a few factors at play here. The first factor is that there was a lot of funding in the explosive 2021 bull market, which resulted in billions of dollars being invested into new protocols that over the bear market have been developing their tech and are now finally ready to launch their products in 2024, and thus that means token launches. And airdrops are basically a way for you to capitalize on new token launches without being invested, as oftentimes projects will airdrop a percentage of their supply to loyal community members to reward them for using the network, and it can act as a really good marketing tool for the project. So there's a lot of old funding now coming to fruition in 2024. A lot of these projects could have launched last year, but the market conditions weren't entirely conducive to a successful airdrop. Now we've seen the market uptick, and we are seeing bullish sentiment across the market. A lot of projects are finally penciling in their airdrop dates. That's why I believe that Q1 specifically is going to be a major airdrop period for crypto. Some of the biggest airdrops in crypto, for example, Manta Network, which we'll discuss today, Wormhole potentially. We also have Layer 0 on the horizon, could all be landing in the near future, which makes this period extremely fruitful, as well as the array of Solana and Cosmos ecosystem airdrops that we are currently seeing. I also believe that new innovation across an array of technological verticals has meant a lot of new projects are now starting to come to light and are launching improvements upon their predecessors. This obviously warrants more token launches and thus more airdrops this year. So to summarize, it's basically a perfect storm for crypto airdrops, and that's why if you're watching this video today, you're in an amazing spot to capitalize if you follow the steps outlined in today's video on what could be a very, very fruitful year for airdrop farmers. So now let me go through all of the airdrops that I'm farming in 2024. This is the most comprehensive list I've put together yet. This does mean though I won't be able to go as deep on each individual airdrop. So I'm going to tell you the airdrop. I'm going to give you a few pointers as to what I'm doing. And then I'm also going to link any resources in the description below to fill in any gaps in your knowledge. Then at the end, we will talk about the overall strategy for approaching airdrop farming, and I'll make sure to follow up with step-by-step deep dive tutorials on any of the networks which I haven't covered yet that are demanded in the comments. So if there are any airdrops that you really like in today's video that I mentioned, and you want even more information, so more step-by-step guides, ecosystem tutorials, etc., then let me know in the comments below which one you want to see, and I'll do a deep dive on the most requested airdrops over the next few weeks, because I want to make sure that all of you are able and have the knowledge necessary to come on this amazing journey with me. The first ecosystem that I want to discuss today, that is one of the pillars of my airdrop farming in 2024, is the Cosmos ecosystem. Cosmos has been home to some of the most lucrative airdrops over the past few years. We've had Osmosis, we've recently had Celestia, we've had Say Network, we've had Kujira, and there are many more airdrops in the pipeline for Cosmos users and stakers alike. If you want to participate in Cosmos airdrop farming, it's very, very simple. All you need to do is create a Cosmos wallet, either a Kepler wallet or a Leap wallet. Once you've created that wallet, if you click on chains on the Kepler Web3 dashboard, you'll see a list of Cosmos chains. Cosmos staking is the most important one in my opinion, because this constitutes a variety of airdrops in the Cosmos ecosystem. If you stake the Cosmos token, you'll get access to new Cosmos launches. So if you click on the Cosmos hub under your Kepler wallet, you'll be able to stake your Atom on Kepler. And similarly, for all of the ecosystem airdrops that I'm staking, like Celestia and Injective, you can also stake these governance tokens on the Kepler wallet directly into a validator node, which will enable you to get airdrops for each of these respective ecosystems too. So there are really two components for Cosmos airdrop farming. The first component is staking these tokens. So this is Cosmos, Osmosis, Celestia, Injective, and I'm also doing Kujira and Stars. These are the main networks I'm prioritizing, and I would recommend you put at least $100 into each of them, weighting them in terms of the most capital going into Cosmos, then the next two you're most bullish on, and then any other Cosmos chains you're most bullish on. You'll have a lesser allocation, but make sure it's at least $100, because sometimes stakers that stake less than $100 are excluded from airdrops as projects try and avoid Cybele or fake airdrop farmers. Obviously, in order to participate in the Cosmos ecosystem, you're going to need to hold the tokens, whether that's Atom, Osmo, Celestia, or Injective. You're going to need to have access to them. I found the best exchange that has the most access to all the Cosmos tokens is BitGet. So the first thing you'll need to do is sign up for a BitGet account. There's a link in the description below that's going to give you access to a $1,000 USDT welcome package. So once you've signed up for the exchange, you can complete some basic tasks in the BitGet Reward Center to get access to a limited time offer that enables you to claim a $1,000 welcome pack. You can also click on the fortune wheel, which enables you to spin and potentially earn additional USDT and coin rewards. Once you've signed up using the link in the description, you will now need to on-ramp funds. You can either do this from another exchange to your BitGet, or you can do this with your credit card or debit card. If you're doing it via credit and debit card, which is the fastest way to on-ramp into crypto, they also have a special promotion at the moment, which enables you to earn up to 50% on a rebate for depositing onto the platform. Meaning if you put $1,000 in, you could potentially win 500 of that $1,000 back. For on-ramping. Not everyone's going to win, but that's also a special promotion that's running at the moment that I wanted to remind you of. Once you've on-ramped, you can go into the trade section and search up any of the tokens, whether that is Atom, whether that's Injective, whether that's Celestia. They have all of the tokens for you to purchase. Once you've purchased them on BitGet, then you can go back to your Kepler wallet that you've created and stake any of these tokens in the respective validators. So if this is Atom via the Cosmos Hub, you would click on Cosmos Hub, then you would scroll down and select a validator. Try and avoid the exchange validators And in my opinion, going for validators outside of the top 20 on Cosmos is better, as you pay less fees. There's a link in the description to sign up to a new BitGet account to claim that $1,000 welcome pack. And I also want to remind you that I did a full Cosmos airdrop guide. So if today's video wasn't in depth enough for you and you think I skimmed over it quickly, that's because I want to give you all of my airdrops. So this video has to be a little bit more condensed. If you want the full Cosmos only guide, I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can watch that video, which is 28 minutes, and get more information on Cosmos specifically. Just to run over some of the ecosystems inside Cosmos I'm bullish on, Celestia is the first one that comes to mind. The Celestia ecosystem is really exciting. It's a relatively nascent ecosystem despite the recent run-up in price, and I do believe that's going to lead to a massive boom of projects building on Celestia, which is the first modular blockchain network. We know modularity is a super hot narrative heading into Q1 2024. So Celestia is one that I'm currently staking, and I do believe that stakers, and you can access it of course via the Kepler wallet under the chain section, will get access to a variety of amazing airdrops as new dApps deploy on Celestia. Similarly, for Injective Protocol, I'm also staking it on the Kepler wallet because I believe that the Injective ecosystem is going to see some amazing applications deploying in 2024. In terms of Injective, this is also one I have a full 32-minute guide on, which runs you through some of the best applications that I am airdrop farming on in the ecosystem, because it's not only Injective staking that can help you get access to Injective airdrops, it's also interactions with the top Injective dApps. Some of these are Helix app, Black Panther, and Protocol Talus, or Talus Protocol, which of course I have the full guide for, which I'll also link in the description. And Osmosis is the last one. This gave you access to airdrops recently, such as Celestia and Say Network, so this is one that I'm also staking in the Cosmos ecosystem. Wanted to kick the video off with Cosmos because it's one of the ecosystems that I'm really focusing on, as I believe it will be lucrative this year, but is also relatively underrated compared to other ecosystems. Now, let's move on to the other non-Cosmos airdrops. Firstly, I want to discuss Aptos as a potential chain for some nice airdrops in 2024. This is one that I'm actively farming on every single week because interestingly, the competition's super low. Not many people are transacting on Aptos, yet it has some of the lowest gas fees in crypto. So you know when you're airdrop farming on certain layer 2s, although, you know, they may be only $1 per transaction, if you're doing 1,000 transactions, that's $1,000. That's a lot of money that ends up adding up when you're airdrop farming on those chains. Aptos and Solana are very unique, and also Sui, which I'll talk about in a second, in the sense that their gas fees are extremely low. So Aptos for me is a very plus EV chain to farm on because of its low barrier to entry with extremely low gas and bridging fees. So Aptos is an ecosystem I'm certainly not sleeping on when it comes to airdrop farming. A few things I'm doing to qualify for the Aptos airdrop is A, taking part in their Galaxy campaigns. These are campaigns that involve a variety of quests that you can complete via their official Galaxy website. If you go into galaxy.com or the official Aptos Twitter account, you'll see the link to these campaigns as they launch. So this is something I'm doing every time they launch a campaign. B, I'm interacting with some key protocols in the ecosystem, such as Aries Markets, which is a perpetual exchange that I'm conducting some swaps on, Counter Labs, which is a DeFi and GameFi building protocol. Essentially what I'm doing right now is I'm swapping and trading on their order book exchange, as well as staking in some of their vaults. Swap GPT, I'm also conducting some swaps on, and a couple more protocols as well, but these are the main ones. So Aptos is an ecosystem that I'm focusing on just given the fact that it's currently so cheap to farm on. Sui is very similar. I think Sui is an underrated ecosystem as well that's relatively cheap to farm on. There's actually an interesting strategy that I saw from Dorian, and it's essentially a strategy that combines interactions with Sideshift, with bridging and swapping Sui to vSui on Volo Sui, and then lending that Sui and borrowing it on Navi protocol. So these are three applications on Sui which could have airdrops in the future as they are tokenless that I'm focusing on. So just to clarify, I'm not farming on Sui to get a Sui airdrop from the Sui Foundation themselves. I'm farming on Sui to get access to the ecosystem dApp airdrops. These three you can interact with in order to qualify for a potential airdrop. Once you've borrowed your Sui on Navi protocol, you can also provides Sui back into the Korea Dex pool. This is also a potential airdrop, and you can also interact with Turbos Finance. So I'll leave a link in the description to my master thread, which has this link in it, but I did think the strategy was really cool and is one that I'm going to start implementing very soon. I was doing normal interaction with a lot of the dApps in the ecosystem, but I'm also going to start doing some of these because they were new to me as well. But I think the strategy makes complete sense in 2024 for Sui. Now let's move on to Solana. And by the way, if you're still watching this video, there's a lot of alpha to come. Some of the airdrops I'll speak about later in the video are going to be the best airdrops of 2024, but I wanted to keep some of the gold until later on in the video. So Solana is an ecosystem that has garnered a lot of attention recently and has had a lot of really big airdrops. We've seen the Jupiter airdrop, we've seen the Jito airdrop, which my followers got because I did an airdrop guide on it super early, the Pyth airdrop, which I actually missed, but was also super lucrative. But there are other airdrops in the ecosystem which I think will also be lucrative. Now, maybe they don't end up paying out the same as Jito, because that was a pretty crazy one, but I still believe that there could be some decent rewards in the ecosystem. There are two I'm primarily focusing on. One is MarginFi. I'm interacting with the MarginFi protocol because I believe that that airdrop is going to be a decent one. And the one I'm probably most bullish on is Tensor. Tensor is the leading NFT marketplace for Solana NFTs, and they have an official point system. So this is basically confirming an airdrop for Tensor, and how you can get access to these airdrops is by listing and bidding on the top collections, as well as market making NFTs from the top 100 collections. There are also some other applications I'm interacting with. For example, Drift Protocol. I'm doing some wash trading on that exchange to build up some volume. And yeah, as I mentioned before, MarginFi is an application I'm using to borrow and lend Solana as it's a money market. I also did a full Solana guide, which I'll link in the description below, which essentially goes through all of the protocols that I'm farming. There's been a couple updates since then, like for example, the Jupiter snapshot going live, but I still believe the core of the video is intact, and I'm pretty much following all of those steps. So that will be in the description if you want to do some further homework on the Solana ecosystem. The next crypto airdrop that I'm farming, and this is one that I've been farming for quite some time, and I believe could be one of the biggest of the year, is Wormhole. Wormhole raised $225 million at a $2.5 billion valuation. Now, when it comes to airdrop farming, the projects that raise the most capital and have the highest valuations typically, not always, but typically end up issuing the biggest airdrops. This is why I like to focus most of my time towards these big heavy hitters like Wormhole, ZK Sync, Layer 0, Linear, because they have so much funding that when the airdrop comes, even a very small slice of the pie means a large nominal dollar amount that can be distributed to airdrop farmers. And it also means when you have big VCs and backers involved, that the likelihood for a token launch is much, much higher than a protocol which doesn't have big backers, because these backers need a return on investment. What's the easiest way to get a return on investment in crypto? It's through a token. And what happens when the token pumps in price? Well, these guys get access to even bigger investments. So, of course, they want the token to go up, and a higher token price leads to a bigger airdrop. So this is always why I like to use CryptoRank. This is a bit of alpha for you. CryptoRank.io. I use this to look at the big investors in the major funding rounds for these protocols. This gives me an inkling as to how worth it is to airdrop farm, because I can't airdrop farm every single protocol. I don't have unlimited time in the day. So in order to narrow it down, and this is the video I'm giving you today, it's a narrowed down list because there are thousands of protocols, but I'm focusing on these 20 specifically. I do use this as a strategy to narrow that list down. So Wormhole is one. How can you get a Wormhole airdrop? You've got to use their official bridges. Portal is one of them. On Portal, you can select networks. They've got a bunch of major networks, and all you need to do is build up some bridging volume from each of the networks. I also recommend you go into their website. If you go into wormhole.com/ecosystem, you'll see all of the bridges or the dexes that are leveraging Wormhole technology. So there are many other things you can do, like use additional bridges and swap on exchanges that leverage Wormhole's tech for cross-chain bridging. I do believe Wormhole and Layer 0, the two big interoperability protocols, are going to have some of the biggest airdrops of the year, because interoperability is a massive narrative, but none of them have tokens yet. So I expect these to launch with extremely high valuations and thus be some of the most lucrative airdrops in crypto. So definitely go onto the Wormhole ecosystem website, look through some of the applications, choose a few that you want to use in order to build up some volume on Wormhole. The next interoperability protocol, which I just alluded to, is of course Layer 0, which is another protocol that's had a massive raise of $263 million at a $3 billion valuation. I won't waste too much of your time on this because I've talked about it extensively in past videos and threads, but if you haven't got started with Layer 0 yet, I do believe there is still a small window here to get involved. Now, maybe you won't have the time to build up crazy volume like some of us have. I've been farming this for over a year and been posting threads and videos for over a year now, so I've talked about it to death, but if you haven't got involved yet, I still believe it's still plus EV to just do a little bit of interaction. I mean, the Arbitrum snapshot was only 2 months prior to their launch. I think Layer 0 is going to be definitely past 2 months, which would be March at the time of recording this video, maybe sooner when you're watching. So there still theoretically should be a window of opportunity here, but you probably won't get the full airdrop. So you may not get the full airdrop that the people that have been farming for a year have, but you can still get involved doing things like getting involved on Stargate Finance. You can bridge, you can vote, you can do all sorts of things. The other things you can do is leverage the Layer 0 bridges. Some of the official bridges of Layer 0 is the Aptos bridge as well as the Bitcoin bridge. And what I would also do is look at some of the primary protocols that use Layer 0 tech. For example, you have Radiant Capital. You have SushiSwap that utilize Layer 0's Omnichain tech. You have Venus, Clearpool, all these DeFi applications utilize it. Hashflow is an interesting bridge because they use Wormhole and Layer 0. So a potential 2 birds with 1 stone solution there. You do need to take this into your own hands and choose the applications that you want to use. I've told you a few that I'm personally using, but to make it simple, your primary goal here is build up bridging volume and trading volume on applications that utilize Layer 0. You go into their website, go into their Twitter, look at the protocols that are utilizing Layer 0 tech, and these are the ones that you want to be interacting with. But the bridging is probably going to end up being the main one. Another one that I want to touch on is ZK Sync. This raised $458 million as well. It's a large ecosystem. You've got SyncSwap, Mute.io, Maverick Protocol. You've got ZK Swap Finance. You've got Zero Lend. Some really big dApps now starting to develop on the ZK Sync ecosystem. And basically all you need to do for ZK Sync is regularly interact with these dApps. It's really as simple as that. I think it's going to be similar to the Arbitrum playbook, as it's a Layer 2 chain just like Arbitrum, and it also has an ecosystem where you can interact with applications. So that is something I'm doing, interacting with applications on ZK Sync. One of them that I've been focusing on over the last couple of months is Zero Lend. So Zero Lend is a money market on ZK Sync, which enables you to borrow and lend on the platform. So I've been borrowing assets on the platform in their money market. I've been lending assets on the platform, and this will help you not only qualify for a ZK Sync airdrop, but potentially a Zero Lend airdrop as well. So you can get native ecosystem airdrops alongside the ZK Sync airdrop. So it's always great to interact with protocols that not only kill the one bird, which is ZK Sync, but also the second bird, which is these individual ecosystem dApps. So Zero Lend fits that bill well for a 2 birds, 1 stone solution there for airdrop farming. Linear is another one under this category of large raises, and actually Linear has the biggest raise out of all of them, raising, it says market data unavailable, but I can tell you it's $725 million at a multi-billion dollar valuation. So $700 million is a whole lot of funding, and Linear, in my opinion, will be one of the biggest airdrops of 2024 when it does launch. Maybe it's not going to be as soon as some of the others I've spoken about in today's video, but we will see it at some point during the year, and I've been interacting with this one for the last 6 months. Recently, I took part in Linear Voyage, which was a campaign that I told you guys about here on the YouTube channel multiple times, as well as on my Twitter. Hopefully you completed that. If you did, you're in a great spot because you would have built up XP during that campaign and also natural swap, bridging volume, etc. If you didn't take part in that, don't worry. You can join the rest of us in the next phase here of linear airdrop farming, which is ecosystem interaction. So just like I talked about for ZK Sync, what you want to do is identify, and DeFi Llama is an amazing website to do this, some of the top protocols that are utilizing Linear or building on Linear and start to interact with them. SyncSwap, it has deployed on ZK Sync, but it's also deployed on Linear. So you can do some swaps over there and build up some volume for Linear. You also have a variety of other applications like Layerbank, etc., which allow you to borrow and lend on the Linear blockchain. So I'm starting to build up some organic volume on Linear. Okay, I've got 5 more crypto airdrops to share with you. I've saved some of the best ones until the end of the video. The first one is Manta Network. I've talked about this many times, so hopefully you have already started farming this, but there is still 7 days left if you're watching this video on the day it goes out. If not, you may have missed it, to bridge onto New Paradigm in order to earn NFT boxes, and the NFTs that you do earn will end up translating to an airdrop. The rarer NFTs that you can collect, the bigger your airdrop is going to be. There'll be a link in the description below if you want to join my team. This will give you an access code and also access to contribute to my team, which will enable you to qualify for lucky boxes. Now, because there isn't much time left, if you're watching this with only a few days to go, you will need to deposit more ETH than you would have needed to a few weeks ago. You could have started with 0.25. Now it's probably not worth depositing anything less than 1 ETH because you simply won't qualify for a big enough airdrop, in my opinion, to be frank with you. So if you do have access to a bit more Ethereum that's just sitting around in a wallet, you can bridge it over using the link in the description and still earn NFTs. If you don't have much Ethereum, then maybe you've missed this one for now. But look, I have been talking about it for a long time, so hopefully you have already got involved. Starknet is the next one I want to touch on. Look, I don't have much to say here apart from the fact I'm interacting with the ecosystem. 3 applications in particular: Jedi Swap, ZK Lend, and Nostra Finance, but there are a few more. This is one that, I mean, the airdrop hype has cooled down for, but over a year ago, everyone was talking about Starknet. They've just taken, a long time to land their airdrop. In my opinion, they should have been teasing their airdrop maybe a little bit earlier. However, I do think there's an ample window here for you to still get involved with Starknet, but it isn't my priority. Just to be clear, at the end of the video, I'll tell you what my priorities are in case this list is getting overwhelming. The next one's Monad. You can't actually airdrop farm for Monad right now, but I wanted to put it on your radar because this is a protocol that I'm very, very bullish on for 2024, which is when testnet and mainnet is going to launch towards Q2 and Q3. They're a layer 1 which uses parallel execution to achieve up to 10,000 transactions per second. It's obviously a very strong narrative with the parallelization aspect of Monad as well as the ecosystem, which I think has a lot of potential. This will be a great one to airdrop farm on testnet and on mainnet when the time comes, but for now all you can really do is follow them on Twitter. I just wanted to give you an upcoming one to give this video a bit of shade, not only ones that have already been farmed to death by now. The next one, similarly to that, is Orderly Network. Orderly Network is a liquidity layer for Web3 trading, and there are a bunch of DEXs built on Orderly. Now, Orderly is super interesting because they utilize layer 0 technology, so interacting with Orderly protocols can help you qualify for a layer 0 airdrop, but they can also help you qualify for the Orderly airdrop as well. You can see some of the major DEXs that use Orderly are Woo Finance, you've got Ref Finance, Jump DeFi, and BTSE DEX. These are some of the applications or front ends that utilize Orderly's liquidity, which can enable you to get an Orderly airdrop. And the last airdrop I want to discuss today is Eigenlayer, and this is basically an Ethereum restaking platform. So it enables you to restake your staked ETH to earn additional yield. Now, Thor ran some maths on this, and he thinks that this could be a protocol that potentially gets up to 10 to even $20 billion in FDV, which would mean 10% of the supply airdropped at a $20 billion FDV would be a $2 billion airdrop. Yet, it's being farmed by just $1 billion currently. So he's identified a discrepancy here, and this is one that you could capitalize on. How? Simply stake your Ethereum on the platform. If it launches in 6 months, it essentially becomes a 400% APY farm on single-sided ETH. Not so bad. They do have caps on their farms, but they do periodically raise these limits, and you usually have a few hours to get into the pools if you haven't already. So this is something that I have been doing with my Ethereum, and I do think it is a great way to earn some additional yield on your Ethereum via their airdrop. So that is a lot of information, but let me condense it for you. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, here's how I would get started. The first thing I would do is pick 2 to 3 airdrops that I spoke about today, or that you're just bullish on in general that maybe aren't in today's video, that you would like to prioritize. For me personally, I'm prioritizing the Cosmos ecosystem, so this includes Celestia and Injective, Layer 0, alongside Wormhole and ZK Sync. However, I'm actively farming all the airdrops on this list. They wouldn't be on this list if I weren't farming them. Trust me, there are hundreds of airdrops in crypto that didn't make this list because I'm probably not farming them. So this is already a curated list. So if you start with any of these 2 to 3, you can't really go wrong. However, those are the ones that I would probably start with if I was completely overwhelmed and I had no idea of what I wanted to farm. But of course, you have to dedicate more capital and attention towards the ecosystem that you're more bullish on. If you think the Cosmos ecosystem's crap, you wouldn't put money there and farm there. If you think that the Starknet ecosystem has really low upside potential, don't waste all your time focusing on Starknet airdrops. It's best to do it with something that you're really aligned with, right? So those are the airdrops that I would farm if I was completely overwhelmed. The next thing that you need to do after picking 2 to 3, or it can realistically be more, is create a spreadsheet and have a tab for each airdrop. So you have a tab for Linear, have a tab for Injective, Cosmos, Celestia, Solana airdrops, and put a task checklist under each tab. So have each individual action. For example, make 5 trades on SyncSwap, deposit $10 into X liquidity pool, bridge X to X chain. You would have all of these tasks listed in your Excel spreadsheet with little checklist symbols next to them, or you can fill them in green once you've completed them. And every single week, what I want you to do is go through this checklist and tick off all the boxes. It's actually super fun. When it comes to airdrop farming, there's no need to overcomplicate it. I usually just chill, play some music, get a couple monitors open, do some airdrop farming, and I work through my Google Sheets or Excel, and I tick them all off as I go about things. Now, how often you farm is really up to you. You can do it every single day for, let's say, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. You can do it bi-weekly, or you can do it in a bigger weekly session. That's not really the important thing. The important thing is consistency. It's better to do something less frequently than you can stick to than overcommit and not be able to stick to it long term. So if for you can only afford to do it for an hour a week, once a week, stick to that. Block out a time in your calendar for every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. and at 2 p.m. every single Sunday. Farm your airdrops. Go through your checklist. Are you going to be able to do as many transactions as someone that's doing it every single day? No, but it's better than nothing. And at least it helps you get some exposure. Your airdrop might not be as big, but at least you will get something and you'll be rewarded, unlike the people that are completely lazy and don't commit to it. Just like going to the gym, just like any major change in your life, it's all about being consistent. Airdrop farming is no different. Be consistent, pick a time, stick to it every week, and tick off that task checklist. You'll find, once you have this system in place, that farming 20, 30, 40 airdrops at once is actually really easy and only takes a couple hours a week. So I'm farming like 20 or 30 airdrops at the moment. I mean, this video had around 20 airdrops specifically, and then under some of the ecosystems, there are another 3 or 4. So probably over 30 airdrops I'm farming, and it only takes me roughly 2 hours a week, and I actually have a lot of fun doing it. It's really, really, really fun. So once you have a system in place, you can go a lot higher than 2 to 3 airdrops. I just think if you haven't approached airdrops before, and this is one of the first videos you're watching, or maybe you lightly taken the plunge but haven't really committed, it's better to focus on 2 or 3, become an expert at them, and slowly add new airdrops into your repertoire every week, rather than just overcommitting from day one. But you'll find that you can actually handle a lot more than you think you can. Next week, I'll be revealing my full airdrop strategy guide. So today's video gave you the airdrops. In next week's video, I'm actually going to show you how to do the very simple things that not many creators are telling you how to do. For example, how to actually set up this checklist and this spreadsheet, how to actually manage your time, and some simple yet necessary tricks that airdrop farmers miss that can actually hurt their chances of receiving an airdrop. So I'll be going through the strategy stuff next week, because now you have all the airdrops, right? I gave them all to you in today's video, and you have a rough idea of how to qualify for them. I want to show you the exact strategy to make sure you qualify for them. So make sure you click that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss that video next week. And also, if you do want to buy any crypto to airdrop farm with, because of course you will need some crypto or at least stable coins to farm with, you can use the link in the description below to sign up for a BitGet account, which is going to give you a $1,000 welcome pack and also spin that lucky wheel to win daily prizes on BitGet. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Good luck to everyone airdrop farming, and I will see you in my next video. Peace out.